Hi everyone. Previously, I had logged in. I started a live video, but there was a technical snag. I was not able to move my cursor, so I had to uh, uh, what you call uh, restart my computer, and then I came back again. So this is the chart, and the question I asked. I probably think is the screen visible to you? The chart on the screen, is that visible to you? Uh, the thing is कि हेलो जी सर एक्चुअली मैं लाइव हूँ अभी फेसबुक पे आई विल गेट बैक टू यू जी जी so again uh, the screen that is visible to you, I asked the question here on the Facebook. So my live session today is regarding this question itself. So what I want to say is ki the question actually originally the question was ki why the astrologers. I am not talking about the classics. I'm talking about the astrologers here. Astrologers probably lay too much of emphasis on Navansha and this and that and this and that. But the thing is ki the best methodology of chart analysis actually lies in the classics itself. And people normally deride and laugh at classics. It's rather very easy for them to say ki the classics do not work. The we are in modern ages now. We need to rethink. We should actually what you call uh, do some research. We should actually adopt research or something. Someone has done research on so and so article, some on so many things. So it is not actually working in the classics. The thing is ki the things that we often overlook. I'm not against anyone or anybody or anyone's techniques, or I'm not here actually to criticize anyone. But the thing is ki the the process that is going on is actually something that needs to be what revisited. People normally pass on lots of information that is out of context, that is not supported by the classics, and it, it actually ends up the process, the whole thing actually ends up in a very confusing manner for the people who are associated with uh, these people who pass on some information that has no backing as from the classics. So when we talk about classics, um, the classics are all astrology books, all that were written previously before the modern authors came in, and probably are called classics of astrology. So the thing is ki uh, without actually going through them, without actually making an effort to translate or to actually understand the process, it's very easy to say ki it is my original research that that such and such research has uh, I have gone through 1,000 charts, or it works for me, or it does for me. But that is not an answer. So I asked a simple question here on the Facebook from many people around here, and the answer was ki you can use any of the techniques, any of the known techniques, So people, I was not actually restricting anyone to any particular technique. So anyone could use any of the techniques known in the astrology and could derive at a result. But the thing is, normally what we overlook, what the classics actually tell you, is what is overlooked. And what is overlooked, say, is actually our bane here. So things are quite simple. We try to make them as complicated as possible. So the Navansha, all the people who actually support that a planet which debilitates in Navansha will give a negative result. Uh, Even if the planet is actually exalted, they should rethink about it, because too much of an emphasis on Navansha alone actually leads nowhere. So as you see on the screen, the Saturn is debilitated in the Navansha here. So I will try to evaluate this chart from 4 different rules of the classics, the very simple rules, without actually emphasizing on Navansha and all this. Rule number 1, Laghu Prashri. Laghu Prashri mentions that when a malefic planet, Laghu Prashri mentions when a malefic planet associates with the Yoga Karak or relates with the Yoga Karak, it will give good results in its dasha and the antardasha of a Yoga Karak. So again, while mentioning this this dictum in Laghu Prashri, it is not mentioned whether the Yoga Karak will be debilitated or something like that. So rule number 1 here is, Mars is a Yoga Karak in this chart. It is connecting to Saturn. Actually, it is related to Saturn as per the relationships as mentioned in Vedic astrology. So it is, Saturn actually is in relationship with Mars. So it satisfies the condition that Mars is a Yoga Karak here, Saturn is a malefic here. So malefic, when it actually connects with or relates with a Yoga Karak, it will produce good result in its time, in its period, and the sub period of its the Yoga Karak. So Antardasha of Yoga Karak. So this is rule number 1. Now going to rule number 2, Faldipika. Faldipika says कि if a planet owns a Kendra, Trikon and a Dushasthana simultaneously, and it is placed in its Kendra or Trikon placement, then it will give good results. So here Saturn owns a Trikon and a Dushasthan, that is the 8th house or the Trik Bhava. So simultaneously, but it is the positioning of Saturn is in its Kendra Sthan, in its Kendra house. So as per the Faldipika, the result of such a planet in its period will be good. Rule number 2. Rule number 3, again a simple rule. Laghu Prashri says a malefic Kendra Lord in a Kendra will lose its propensity to do evil. So condition number 3 is again fulfilled because Saturn is a Kendra lord in a Kendra, a malefic in a Kendra. So it will actually lose some of its malefic content. Now coming to the fourth rule, Bhavarth Ratnakar. Bhavarth Ratnakar actually has a dictum where the placement of planet is seen from its signs. So as you see here, Saturn is placed. If Bhavarth Ratnakar says if a planet is placed adverse from its signs, and if it owns two signs from both the signs, then it will give adverse results. Here, the planet Saturn is adverse from its one sign, that is Aquarius, its Mool Trikon sign. It's 12th from it, but the other from other sign it is placed in the sign itself. So here two negatives will make a positive. Since as an eighth lord, it is losing out on its significations because of the placement, because it's placed 12th from itself. So Saturn, the significations of 8 are likely to suffer. So who wants a better significations for the 8 here? So Saturn actually, for this native, Saturn gave the result of its placement, that is in the 7th house. The business and the marriage, both of them prospered. What I mean to say is, if we know, actually it is, all rules are very simple, very